Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster
Movie.
fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. 31 Days of the Dead. Day 19. I'm your host, Precious D, and once again with me is my sister, Precious Lita.
Yay! That's me.
Lita, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Today we're talking about Day of the Dead from 1985. Because this season is just slapdash any old order. We've done some of the Romero films, but not all of the Romero films. Some of them we've done the remake, but not the original. We're all over the fucking place because we don't care. Because I just didn't. Because I don't know. Because reasons. So we're doing Day of the Dead from 1985.
Do you know when this is going to air? When is this? Sorry,
I haven't decided, but it's going to be after some of the movies that came after it.
Okay.
Before, like, the first episode of the season was Return of the Living Dead, and the second one was Night of the Living Dead, which confused our mother when she decided she wanted to catch up with this season of the podcast. I said, watch Night of the Living Dead first. And even though that episode comes second, but we've recorded, we've done the remake of Dawn of the Dead, but we're not doing the original Dawn of the Dead. And we're doing Day of the Dead, but we're not going to do the remake of Day of the Dead. Anyway, it's from 1985, directed by George A. Romero. This is his third in the series.
Mm-hmm.
It is 100 minutes in color. In English, the budget was $3.5 to $4 million, and the box office was $34 million. So that's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
This, let's see, who's the cast? Did Savini do the makeup on this one?
Let me look.
Who did the makeup?
So Greg Nicotero is in it as an actor. But I'm not sure if this was, and I wish that we remembered. So if you're aware, David, my partner, and I went to see a screening of this about 10 or more years ago, where we got photos with George Romero and others. Oh, do you want to go through the cast list and then I'll talk about this again?
I was just, we'll do the credits, and it wasn't telling me here who did the makeup. Hold on.
Yeah, let me see if I can find
Tom
that.
Savini returned to provide the film's special effects makeup, and he was assisted by a team of artists that included Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger, who later became known for their work on the television series The Walking Dead.
Yes.
The cast is Laurie Cardille as Sarah Bowman, Terry Alexander as John Flyboy, Jarlath Conroy as Bill McDermott, described as the group's alcoholic radio operator, Sherman Howard as Bub, Joseph Pilato as Captain Henry Rhodes, Gary Howard Clark as Private Walter Steele, Ralph Marrero as Private Robert Rickles, Tasso N. Stavrakis as Private Juan Torres, Anthony DeLeo Jr. as Private Miguel Salazar, John Amplis as Ted Fisher, Dr. Ted Fisher, Richard Liberty as Dr. Matthew Frankenstein Logan, Philip G. Kelmis as Private Miller, Greg Nicotero as Private Johnson, George A. Romero as Zombie with Scarf. I didn't notice a zombie with a scarf, but and Michael J. Tommaso as Mailbox 22 football player Zombie. Mike Ankes as Head Ripper Zombie. So there we go. There's also a prequel called Day of the Dead 2 Contagium. Oh. I don't know. A loose remake of the film Day of the Dead in 2008, straight to DVD. It says here that it was announced in 2013 there would be another remake, Day of the Dead Bloodline. Did that actually happen? I don't know. And then a television series based on the film was announced in 2020 on Sci-Fi. It has not come out. The series will follow 6 strangers in the first 24 hours of a zombie invasion. So this just sounds like they like that title, but that it's not really a remake. It's not about an army bunker. It doesn't sound like. And they're supposed to be making something called Night of the Living Dead 2 that will have Laurie Carlisle and Terry Alexander and Jareth Conroy.
I was just looking at Laurie's IMDb as well, and I don't remember this. So she's in an episode of Stranger Things as Dr. Sarah Bowman, the same character, but it says uncredited, and I don't remember this episode. Okay, maybe it was so season 3, episode 1, chapter 1, Susie, do you copy? So is that the girlfriend that from camp when they get on the radio with someone? Yeah. Was that?
Yeah. That's probably what the title of the episode's referring to.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, there's I don't remember what happened in what season, but there's numerous scenes that are in some kind of lab or something with some doctors and stuff. So she might be.
Yeah, I have to go back.
She might just be one of those. There's a number of government and laboratory doctor people in the whole series, so it's probably that.
What that was. Apparently some little Easter egg that I wonder if anybody caught out there.
Might have to go back and look at. So why
she
did
does
you
a great
want to
job.
do this one in particular? Why did you pick this one? Just I wanted to go to this screening, or
yes, because we went to this screening, so we got to meet and get photos with George Romero, Greg Nicotero, Sherman Howard or Howard Sherman, who played Bub. And also the guy, and Joseph Pilato, who was Henry Rhodes. So that was the first time that I saw it, was at that screening, which was forever ago.
Wasn't Tom, which was in the high, like photos was. I thought one of those was Tom Savini, or was it just somebody else in a goatee?
No, it's Greg Nicotero. So no, we did not.
Does Greg just look like Tom Savini?
Maybe. No, I don't think Tom Savini was there, or we did not. No, the one that you thought was him is Greg, because he's pretty much kind of why we went, because it was at the height of The Walking Dead, when The Walking Dead was still good, and Greg had just taken over, I believe, as executive producer, or had stepped up more. He was directing episodes of that. So we were, at that time, we were big Walking Dead fans. And also George Romero is a legend. So, there was an opportunity to see him. And then also, and I think that we met David had his soundtrack signed. He had a soundtrack CD that was signed by the composer, I believe. So that was part of why he wanted to go as well. He's big into soundtracks, and especially ones that are kind of obscure and hard to find.
Okay.
Where is the I'm looking through the music. Yeah, John Harrison, or is that right? Yeah, I think it was him. Somebody who was big in the on the soundtrack elements. So yeah, so that was a really great and we actually talked to Greg for a little bit. I don't remember anything we said, but he was very kind to everyone. It was a great experience. It was a lovely, one of those wonderful LA opportunities that David's really good at finding cool things to do like that.
Okay.
So I wish I remembered more of what they talked about, but I don't, because it was over 10 years ago. So.
Okay. You weren't making notes at the time. You didn't know.
I might have recorded it, but it would be on like 4 phones ago, so I don't know.
I did make one of my notes says very 80s soundtrack, so I did notice it. It's very synthesizer doodly kind of,
For sure. Okay, well, so let's get into this.
Yeah, my very first note is dream ! God damn it.
Yeah. I said something similar. Nice fake out, or nice fake out. I noted I liked how it just opened without even any studio fanfare or rigmarole. I was especially, intrigued by the zombie alligator. There were just some really interesting visuals there, which just does speak to good direction of making statements with like the alligator, skeletons. There was money just lying around. Just kind of really well done establishment of what we're dealing with. But yeah, dreams are annoying.
I once was reading a book on writing, and it said start with a dream, lose a reader. And I agree. It was like, do not start your book with a dream sequence, and then suddenly he woke up, because you're just gonna piss off your reader. And this has come up in another movie. It didn't start with a dream, but we get that whole, we think something's happening, and then they wake up, and then it did the double dream. I really hate the double dream. Don't do it. The first person who ever did the double dream maybe was doing something clever, but it's not clever anymore. Don't do it. But definitely don't start your movie with a dream.
It kind of makes me feel like the whole thing is a dream.
Well, that's what I was afraid they were going to give us some Dorothy bullshit at the end.
Yeah.
Because same thing happens at the end. Almost the exact same thing. Because she starts out, now it does look cool. She's just sitting in this white sort of cement room, like a cell.
Yeah.
And then a arm bursts through the wall and grabs her, and she wakes up. She's in a helicopter. Yeah. And they're scouring the countryside or the city looking for survivors. And then they land like dummies and get attacked. But so we're pretty far in. So it's a zombie apocalypse situation. Now, Romero doesn't seem overly concerned with continuity from film to film. But I think we get a little bit of continuity here, but not strictly.
And this is after Dawn of the Dead, right? So
yes.
Do we?
And there is a passing reference to some people in the mall.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
like,
Night of the Living Dead is 1968. This is 1985. It has not been that many. It's not strictly a continuity of. It's this many years since that movie happened. But that movie, the zombie outbreak, is just started. Dawn of the Dead, I think it's also just kind of started, or it's been going on for a little bit. and people are holed up in a mall.
Yeah.
Now it's been going on for months now, not years, but it's been going on for months. Yeah. Dawn of the Dead was 1978. So it's definitely not a couple of years later, but it's probably a few months later.
Yeah.
From that period in the zombie apocalypse. So as far as we know, these might be the last, 10 people? I'm not sure how many people are in this thing, but it's not, they've lost several people. There's some kind of a government operation where some army guys that are supposed to be supporting these scientists who are trying to figure out what's going on and what can be done about it. But they also go out looking for survivors every now and then. And that's what's happening in the beginning here, and they don't find any.
Well, are they looking for survivors, or are they rounding up more zombies to
No, that happens
experiment?
later. They do that in the tunnel. The helicopter is just because he's calling out over the radio. If anyone's listening to this frequency, we have a helicopter. Yeah. We're at this location. Yeah. And they land and are like, anybody here? Which of course they should know by now is just going to make the zombies come running.
Right.
So they're in this bunker that is also connected to what look like mining tunnels. And later on, one of the characters tells us that this is a government bunker where they store a lot of records. It's been here for a long time. It's not here just because of the zombie apocalypse. This is where the government stores records that it thinks might be important at some point if there's like a nuclear war or something. Is probably why it was originally built as a depository. But we're holed up here because it's relatively safe from the zombies. And we just find out that the zombies are learning, which I said, I wrote down recurring theme because in the movie we just talked about, My Fair Zombie, they're able to teach a zombie to do things. And that's what this guy is doing. This was made years earlier. But the one they keep calling Frankenstein has a zombie that he has, to an extent, domesticated and is trying to retrain.
Bub.
So Bub, which I thought was funny because I had watched My Fair Zombie first. And I was like, oh, okay. It's not the first time somebody's tried to train a zombie.
Was this your first time watching this film?
I saw it years ago, I believe, but I didn't remember anything about it other than I didn't remember any details. I just knew that was the one in the bunker.
Yeah.
But I'm certain I've seen it before. I don't think I've seen any of the remakes. Yeah, here's the line. All the shopping malls are closed, somebody wrote, and I think that was meant to be a reference to.
Oh, right. Do you want to talk more about the plot, or should we talk about some themes? Because
you talk about whatever you want. Talk about the themes. I was just trying to lay some groundwork here about what we're talking about. So we got a bunch of men and we got one woman, which is not a safe situation for her. This is a man or bear. It's a man or bear situation.
Yeah, and it's really uncomfortable. And I don't remember if I was this uncomfortable with it the first time I saw it. But they're just so, it's especially Rhodes, Flyboy.
Yeah.
Just so outwardly hostile toward her because she's not giving it up for all of them because she's dating one guy who was kind of a loser. Torres. I'm sorry. Torres didn't really offer much. I don't know why she was interested in him, but
I assume that there was something before that, but now he's starting to lose it. But we don't get to see any of that. We don't get to see it. We only see him on the verge of cracking. We don't see what it was that attracted her to him in the first place. But we just see the breakup happening.
Right.
So,
which, is to be expected. They're all breaking up in different ways. Like Rhodes is too. Yeah. He's losing it in his own way. Yeah. But it is this weird, and I wonder if, if anyone was really aware of what the message was, but kind of expectations that are put on women and, his entitlement to think that she should be giving it up for all of them, or whatever he really wanted from her,
or let one of not necessarily all of them, but like maybe give someone else a crack. I think he said something along those lines.
Yeah,
give someone else a turn.
Yeah,
I do think this was meant to be uncomfortable. I don't think we're ever meant to sympathize with any of those soldiers. Also because he presents these other men who aren't complete assholes, who know how to treat I was going to say treat a lady, but just know how to treat another human being. Because another human being. Yeah, because the soldiers are treating everybody badly, including each other.
Yeah,
particularly Rhodes. Steele's a racist. They're all racist. It turns out. They have to at least be okay with racist, because nobody says to Steele, "Hey, don't call him that." But Steele at least is loyal to Rickles, whereas Rhodes is willing to shoot Steele if Steele doesn't do what he wants.
Right.
Rhodes has recently become promoted because the commander got killed. So Rhodes is now the ranking officer, and he's not ready for this position. They're all losing their minds. They're in a bad situation. They're all losing their minds, but some of them weren't good people to begin with, and now the restraints are taken off, and they can act. Rhodes is a little dictator. On the other hand, he is an asshole, but also the men under his command keep dying. Everybody he is served with, his commander the people above him have died. The people below him have died. And from his point of view, for no reason, they're not making any forward progress. Yeah. So he has his own reasons for being frustrated. None of that excuses the way he behaves towards the woman.
Right.
But he's not just losing it for no reason. He's at the end. Everybody in this movie is at the end of their rope, except for Frankenstein.
Frankenstein and her
also crazy.
She keeps it together pretty damn well, and it's just kind of like the responsibility of a woman to carry all the men around her and take care of everybody. She really is taking care of everybody in an unfair it's a division of labor. Like, this is a thing that people are finally talking about, where women have to do the emotional labor for everyone. And
but we see, as the audience, though, because we see her dream, we see that she is nearly at the end of her rope too. She's just maybe putting up a better front, or just working harder to keep it together. She's definitely doing better than most of them.
Yeah, none of them are trying to keep it together. She is, and it's then keeping it together for everybody else.
Yeah. Now, I don't say none of them. Flyboy's doing all right. Who's Jamaican for no particular reason? Flyboy? The pilot, the black guy.
Which one is? Oh, okay. Oh, right, because he has that he says that shitty line to him about, what does he say? I made a note about it. Yeah. You're on my shit list, Flyboy.
Yeah. John Flyboy, who is inexplicably Jamaican, because the actor is not Jamaican. It's just, I don't know. It's a magical Negro thing.
Sure. He's great. And do we think, was this blatant, or was this subtle, or am I just looking into things? But did he and Bill have a relationship? Were they romantically involved?
I don't.
Where they have their, they have their RV resort oasis there. Like, it's
right. They were. I think they were just. I mean, it's possible, and that would explain why they're not interested in the woman, but they could also just be decent human beings. No, I think they're civilians. They're not part of the military. They're not one of the soldiers, but they're also not one of the scientists. They are a pilot and a radio operator. So they're sort of outside of both groups. So they've set up their own little thing that is physically outside of both groups. Because they're like, we just need to work the radio and fly the helicopter. We don't need to deal with that weird science shit they're doing in there. And we don't need to be getting pushed around by roads. So even though we're more exposed to the zombies, it's nice for it seems safer out here closer to the zombies than it does with any of that nonsense. So I think that's all that's happening there. Also,
really,
they talk about.
You didn't feel a little bit of a sexual tension between a little bit.
I didn't.
Nothing.
I did. I'm not saying it didn't. I didn't clock that. But there is a Bill McDermott, the Irishman. This is maybe just a little stereotyping racism here, flyby racism, drive-by racism. That he's an alcoholic. They call he's described here as an alcoholic, but. It does. He's drinking, and we see him drinking a number of times, but he never actually seems drunk. So,
he's got a baseline buzz.
Yeah. He doesn't. He's not losing his shit like anybody else is, and he's one of the 3 people that makes it to the end. So I'm not sure he actually is an alcoholic, but he's obviously a drinker. At one point somebody says, you shouldn't be drinking. He's like, look, pretty soon there's not gonna be any of this left because no one's making any more, so I'm just gonna enjoy it while I can. But I don't think he's ever actually drunk at any point.
Yes, so, he's decent. John is decent. And I'm glad they survived.
Yeah, the other scientist is okay as well, but he's also it's the soldiers that are the problem.
So then is that also a commentary on just a militant military society that if we
I think so. The toxic men are all soldiers. There's no sympathy. They keep talking. Well, they use racial slurs against what's his name. I'm not going to repeat them, but Miguel Salazar.
Oh,
even though one of the other guys is also Hispanic, Juan Torres.
Yeah.
They use racial slurs against him. They also keep referring to him as yellow because he's cowardly, because he's cracking up. He's reached his breaking point and he's losing it.
Right.
And I mean, this is in the 80s, but there's just no tolerance for anybody's mental health from the men. The scientists understand. The woman understands. The other scientists, I think, also understand that he needs. Well, he also just hasn't been sleep. I mean, she sedates him because he hasn't been sleeping. So anybody, if they lose enough sleep, is going to start to crack, no matter what their baseline is.
Yeah.
And so maybe the other guys are just getting more naps. I don't know.
Yeah.
He resents that she is so strong. He's like, I'm not as strong as you, but then he gets angry about it. He acknowledges that he's not as strong, but then he gets angry about it and tries to prove that he is as strong and fucks up.
Yeah.
So, and then just decides fuck it all at the end when he opens the gate.
Oh yeah, what the fuck, man? Why?
So this guy Miguel, at one point he gets bitten, and Sarah, nobody apparently has tried this before. Maybe it's just because they were involved. Maybe it's just because she has time. Decides to try and cut his arm off above the bite, and and then cauterize it, and that might prevent him from turning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unclear whether or not it would have worked, because he decides at one point, and again, this is also unclear, is it because, is he turning, or is he just decided this is terrible and this needs to end? He goes up above ground and opens the gate and lets all the zombies in, and then lets them down the elevator to overrun the bunker. So I
How
think
does
he might have
I'm forgetting now. How does he end his journey? Does he get eaten?
Yeah, he gets eaten by the zombies, but he knows, he seems to have decided to let
He
them eat him.
sacrifices himself. Yeah.
He sacrifices himself in order to fuck over everybody else, because he goes and gets the little control for the elevator. It's one of those 2-button things on a cord, and basically just sort of sits down or lays down, waits for him to come get him, and then pushes the button just before he's consumed so that the elevator takes the zombies down into the bunker.
Yeah.
It's one of those big, it's not a Muzak elevator. It's one of those big, it's a big platform that you can drive things
it's
up onto.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Freight elevator kind of thing.
Going down into the bunker. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the reason that ultimately that they fail is because one of them loses his mind so much that he decided that they should all die.
Yeah.
Or at least all the other soldiers should die. He gives up. He gives up and takes revenge. I mean, these guys, from his point of view, they've all treated him badly. So maybe that's what he's doing.
Right. But it is
not only decides to end himself, but to end everybody else as well.
To end everybody else, including Sarah, who's been taking care of him. So it is a pretty...
Right, but he's resentful
again, it's
about
like
it.
what...
Maybe he thinks it's also unclear if he knows she's going to get away or doesn't care, because she does get away with the other two, as we said. But but he's also feverish and he's been bitten by a zombie, and so who knows?
Yeah,
who knows what his real motivation is? But yeah, it's basically fuck it all, taking it all down. So, but then it ends with it does the same dream thing where they're getting on the helicopter to go, the three of them that are left, as their zombies are swarming the place. And everybody else is getting destroyed. And here's where we get our best. I didn't love the makeup work in this.
Oh,
but
I thought it was pretty good.
Well, just the gray, the way the zombies all just look gray, didn't look very real to me. So just the baseline zombie stuff, it just looked like they were wearing gray clown makeup, gray pancake, or grease paint. But the effects of the zombies tearing people apart, that's where their special effects makeup is really being done, where it looks like someone's head is being taken off while they're still screaming and things like that. That is all very cleverly done without any computer assistance. So but just the how to make a zombie look like a zombie, that part I didn't love. They've gotten better at that. Obviously. Sure. Anyway, she's getting on the helicopter, and then it looks like a zombie has grabbed her and is about to bite her, and then she wakes up and she's on the beach and the other two guys are fishing. She's laying on a blanket or something, I remember, and the two guys have also made it and they're fishing just a little bit down the beach from where she's laying, and the helicopter's there. So we see they had talked about taking that helicopter and just going to an island somewhere where there aren't any zombies and just waiting it out or living there. Yeah. So they appear to, but again, they do the same dream psych out in that we think she's been grabbed by a zombie and we wake up and she's not in the helicopter, but she's next to the helicopter.
Right.
Didn't love that.
No. Yeah. Because then it does just ask the question, was it all a dream? But at least they're safe. Like, they're the good ones. At least the decent people got away. Let's talk about Frankenstein and Bub.
Oh my God.
Because
it's
a great performance. Like, he really, I feel like, is an unsung actor. I'd like to see more. Are you talking
about Sherman Howard,
work.
or are you talking about Frankenstein?
Yeah.
You talking about
Sherman
Bub?
Howard. Bub.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they both do it. They both do a great job.
Yes, absolutely. But I think, my thoughts on it are, this is a kind of a statement on humanity and what is a monster, who or what is a monster, because clearly Bub is not a monster. He's just in a bad situation. Right. He's just got an illness. Rhodes is a real monster. Like there are some good questions to be asked with this. I feel like this is more than just a zombie film,
Yeah. Oh, most of Romero's stuff is more than just it's usually about something. But we also see this not just in zombie movies, but we see this in many of our kaiju movies that we normally discuss, that the true monster is man.
Yeah.
And that's the case here. Bub's not doing this because he wants to do it.
Right. And I think he's trying. Like it is kind of a sweet Henry Higgins situation where he could maybe go to the ball with a little more work.
Yeah. But Frankenstein he's also out of his mind. And we hear one of his recordings later where he's talking about his father and his mother, or talking to them, and we see that he's got all these weird, Oedipal, or he's got all these weird psychological issues going on as a grown man about the approval of his parents or something. I can't remember exactly now what he was saying, but it seemed like some of what he was doing with his experiments was so mommy and daddy would be proud, or I don't remember. But he has given up on finding a cure or a cause. They're supposed to be trying to figure out what is causing this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole reason for this setup. And that's why they keep bringing zombies in to study, to try and figure out what's going on. And all Frankenstein has figured out is that as long as the brain is intact, it will still keep the body going. You can remove all the organs, but the brain is what is important. The zombies aren't wanting to eat the brains like in some of the other movies, but the brain is the key.
Yeah.
I think in all the Romero ones that if you destroy the brain, or remove the head. No, in this one though, even if you remove the head, the brain will keep the head going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to destroy the brain in this one, not just sever the spinal cord. And it wants blood, but can't digest. He mentioned at one point. So he is given up on figuring out why. And he thinks if we can just condition them to do what we want. He's decided to approach the problem in a completely different way, because he's like, they're here. We're far outnumbered. There's more of them every day. There's no way to do what you want. There's no way to fix this problem or eliminate this problem. All we can do is try to figure out how to get them to do what we want through conditioning. But he's wrong in that it's in no way a practical solution.
Right.
You don't.
Do we know? Yeah, and do we know in this
months?
Go ahead.
You can't spend months training each zombie individually through conditioning and sense memory and stuff. There's just, especially when there may only be 5 to 10 people left in the world.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Right. I don't recall, do we know if it's a virus in this that's caused it?
No,
what is,
they don't know.
But he hasn't figured it out, because that's what he's supposed to be doing. All right.
Yeah. They have no idea. All he's figured out is how they function, but he hasn't figured out why they function. Yeah. And basically, what's his name? Mr. Jamaica has a metaphysical theory that
that the
God
creator is punishing us.
Yeah, which is as good a theory as any at this point from within that film, because there's no physiological reason why the brain should be able to keep powering the bodies the way that it is.
Yeah.
So it may as well be magic or divine or technically a miracle, but not in a good sense.
Right.
And the thing is, the people who are morally good survive.
Mm-hmm.
And those who have sinned are punished by the zombies. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe God has rendered judgment upon them, and those who treat other humans decently will get to survive, and those who don't.
Yeah, but they only survive by luck, or I guess by their own actions.
They survive because they cooperate and look out for each other, whereas the other people have not.
Right. I'm looking through all the photos on IMDb. There's 690, just to see if I spot a zombie with a scarf that might be George Romero. But there are so many different, it's kind of cool to look at the stills and realize the extent of the makeup that was done. Because especially, at the end there, when they all get inside, there are a shit ton of zombies. And each one is really unique. There is kind of a theme. Not all of them have the full gray. And I wonder if that's also indicative of how long they've been undead, how gray they are. But it's pretty, God, there's a shit ton of work done in the makeup department. So it is a hell of a feat. Like, that is something pretty, I respect it a lot. Like, I enjoy seeing this great effect. There's a freaking clown zombie that is still in clown makeup, zombie makeup on top of clown makeup. That's pretty damn good.
I want to talk about Joseph Pilato for a moment.
Okay, the actor.
He kept the actor. I kept thinking, well, not like his personal life or anything, but I kept thinking he was somebody else, but I couldn't figure out who, because I was like, I've seen that guy and stuff. And I go to look him up and I'm like, well, no, I'm not recognizing, he's clearly not who I think he is, but then I couldn't think of who I thought he was. He looks a lot like somebody else. And I had this vague idea of that somebody else playing some kind of a greaser, some kind of a leather jacket kind of person, but I can't for the life of me think of who it is. So that was driving me
exactly
nuts.
What you're saying, and I can't identify either. But yes, I get that he has a very familiar feel. We might have talked about this. Pause one moment. Let me go consult with David, because I feel like we talked about this. Hang on. Think about it. Okay. No, we did talk about it, but we can't identify who we think he looks like either. But yes, I did. I had the same. Yes, I did. I had the same. Ooh. Why is it echoing? Why is it repeating? Why is it echoing? Why is it repeating?
Hold on. I got to switch headphones. Okay. Sorry. My earbuds disconnected, so I just switched to a wired headphone.
Gotcha. Yeah, we can't identify. We had the same thought. He looks like...
It's not quite the Dr. Pepper guy from American Werewolf in London. It's not him that I'm thinking of.
It's not
anyway,
quite
let me
Bill
know if
Paxton.
it comes to you.
Okay. On the same note,
somebody less famous.
The the other guy reminded me so much of John Goodman.
Steele?
Steele, yeah. He was so John Goodman and Big Lebowski. I kept picturing Walter. I mean, he looks very much like him, and just that character was very much like Walter.
Yes, but he didn't have Goodman's charm. Goodman has a certain amount of charm that even when he's being like a bad guy, you still like him. I did not like this guy at all.
Absolutely.
I have a few more notes before we need to wrap up soon, but I have a few more notes. I wrote down, we need his ass. His delivery, the emphasis should have been, they were going to threatening the helicopter pilot. And he's like, we can't shoot him. We need his ass. And I was like, no, we need his ass, not we need his ass. It wasn't his ass specifically. That you need. I mean, I do. We need.
I think they were all going to start having to go. They were all on the verge of just going gay because they all really needed something. I don't know. I know. But they needed him to pilot the helicopter, not right.
It was just, there should have been a second take on that line.
Sure, for sure.
Also, as Rhodes, that was Rhodes that said that, as Rhodes is getting attacked by the zombies and is about to get killed, he keeps yelling, "You pussy fuck," which was just a weird thing. Not you assholes, not you motherfuckers, you pussy fuck.
Right.
I'm like, what a weird choice. I don't know if that was in the script or he was improvising or what. And then, of course, my last note was dream, God damn it.
Yeah.
So, I think we've been going on for a while. We should go ahead and wrap this up. So
let's wrap it up.
Lita, how many brains are you going to rate Day of the Dead?
You know, as a zombie movie, I feel like it's a really classic movie. It's got everything. It's got clown zombies. It's got eviscerations. I'm gonna give it. Yeah, I mean, it might as well give it five brains because I think you can't do a lot better. I think they did a great job with, even though it's kind of a big budget for the time, it still is like a very well contained. I think they spent most of their money on makeup. Well placed. I think all the actors are great. There's some sort of, it feels dated in some ways, and there's sort of a dated acting style, but I still think Laurie Cardeal, or I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but I think she does a great job carrying everything like women do. And I think it does have a lot to, it's kind of very progressive and feminist for 1985. So yeah, five brains.
I think I'm just going to give it 4.5. Okay. It's good, but it's just not one of my favorites. Maybe I just don't love the characters enough, or I don't know what it is. I do like that it's kind of about something, but I feel like it's not quite as focused as some of the others on what it's about.
It could be more focused because I have a lot of questions of, is it about this? Is it about that? What is it trying to say?
I mean, it might just be about the situation. What happens to people when they're in this situation? Rather than making a bold statement about the situation, it's just you put them in this boiler pot and how do they break down?
Yeah.
Rather than making a broader statement about society, it's more about how do people fall apart? How are these particular people going to fall apart in this situation?
Yeah.
So, whereas we're covering it later in the season, Land of the Dead is very much about something specific, I feel. Most people don't think it's as good of a movie, and I'm not saying it is, but it's got a specific statement it's making. Whereas this is just more of a experiment in what happens to people when we put them in this bad situation, which is not bad, but I just didn't enjoy it as much. So 4.5. It's good. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. Definitely some good performances. So there you go.
I think for any zombie fan, it's a must watch. You need to.
Oh, absolutely.
You need to
Absolutely.
see it in the canon of zombie movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lita, thanks for joining me.
Sure.
Folks, we'll be back again with another one tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and rate and review and all that things. Support us on Patreon if you can. Until next time, I have been Precious D. With me has been Lita. Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements. Please don't misuse science. We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.